This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
I believe we all have stories. There's a story in everything. Even day to day, you go to get a cup of coffee, there's probably a story there. You probably could, and you know what? If you're a little intentional, you can make it a really good story, even just buying a cup of coffee. But our lives are stories. What if you owned that story? The stuff you've been through, and not just focusing on the negative, and I'm not minimizing anything. We all been through stuff. I always say we're all blanket warriors when you think about it, but really owning your story and embracing that as opposed to writing as a victim in your story. We're going to talk about that today, and potentially the secret for moving your life forward. She is an amazing transformational life coach. She's got a story too. She is Donna Day, back with us. How you doing?
It's so good to be back. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
It's top of the morning to you, as they say. Gosh, it is. We all have a story. You can't deny it. This is the stuff that happened to us, and it's part of, good or bad, it's part of our story, right?
Yeah, many people, carry the weight of their painful experience, and they keep replaying that in their minds, which ends up defining their identity, with those moments. So when you kind of change your shift in perspective and in your words, where you start focusing more on, how you're rebuilding your life, not so much how it went down, like in a negative fashion, then that's where you invite transformation of seeing yourself not just as your past, but as who you're becoming. And just that small shift invites the healing and allows you to rewrite your narrative. So instead of focusing on the trauma or the pain, you then refocus on the growth and the resilience and the hope and what you're building from those experiences.
So you've shared a lot about your life, whether it's relationships, whether it's health challenges, and I appreciate that. Thank you for being transparent. When you look at that stuff, how do I say this? Are you glad it happened to you?
I would say I'm grateful, because if certain things didn't happen, when they happened, I feel like I could have totally gone way more under than I would have. But because they happened when they happened, it was like that instant, like, kind of like, whoa, let me pause. What the heck's going on? Why is my life going this way? And pushed me to, like, strive for more or be better or figure out how to change things. So all those moments, even if at the time felt heavy and like unstoppable, unpredictable, unknown, and scary, those moments are what help build my confidence, my self-worth, help bring out, the inner parts of me that I didn't know existed, especially my resilience in, getting thrown things and just being able to move through them gracefully instead of letting them be like define me. So I feel sometimes when you get hit with those things, if you use them as a growth opportunity or a lesson, it helps, push you forward, where you kind of meet a person you didn't even know existed within you.
When it's happening in the moment, it's hard to find the gratitude.
Yes, it is.
But would you say, Donna, as life goes on and other stuff happens to you, because it's called life.
Oh, yeah.
Do you look at it in a different way now that you've been through certain things? You got over that challenge, then that one presented, then that one. So now when the next one presents, you're not freaked out about it as much as you would have been, because you're seeing your resilience in it. But are you also seeing the gratitude where you never would have before, even though you don't know why it's happening, but you think there's a reason, I'm going to figure it out at some point, but you just roll with it? Does that make sense?
Oh, it totally makes sense. I really feel that our personal stories shape how we understand the world and ourselves. So, with each of those experiences, like especially when you're going through a trauma or a hardship and you get hit with it, it often becomes the dominant chapter in your life story, and that's when people start to feel like they're trapped or they have, or they feel shame or they feel helplessness.
Mm,
But in fact, the story that broke you, as you were saying, is actually filled, with more than just loss, failure, betrayal, and by retelling it, it can help those wounds open. So when you're focusing on what is going right or what is, positive in your life, or even just like the tiniest thing. I mean, I could give an example when I was sick. I mean, I literally within a couple hours, I became almost completely disabled where I couldn't even carry my own body weight. So I had to be carried everywhere. So my life changed in an instant. And at first, I definitely kind of fell into that. But then I started thinking, like, you know what? This isn't the end. There is more. I'm going to get through this and I'm going to figure it out. And I kept pushing that positivity instead of focusing on the pain or the suffering and pushed it into how can I move forward, and like today I would celebrate a win. Wow, I took a couple steps on my own without being carried. Celebrate it, because like those little things
yep.
add up into the big triumph and everyone's stronger than they realize.
I completely agree on all points. And as I see it, myself and all of us, we don't look at the little wins.
Mm-mm.
We don't, and that's how it works.
Yeah.
Usually, not going to have the big win. It's going to be the little ones that add up to something, or you just look at what you got in front of you. Like if you look back, like go 6 months back, go a year. My gosh, I look at that. I'm like, when I have a frame of reference, or if I go back, like, oh my God, whoa, like what went on? Like even on a health issue, I had surgery there, overcame that, other challenges, mindset, where things used to keep me in maybe a box in, one category, whatever it might be, where I'm like, yeah, I broke out of the box. Like, whoa, like you gotta, the best thing is write it down. Cause when you
Yeah.
try to process it in your brain, make a timeline of what you did in the last year. I think we'd be really, really, proud of ourselves if we did.
Oh, most certainly, because people have to realize that when I'm saying like changing your story, it means reorganizing and recognizing that your past isn't what defines you, or your future. It simply just means acknowledging the pain by choosing to focus on how you have grown beyond that point instead
Mm,
of actually in that moment, and that shift really helps you reclaim your identity and build your life,
mm.
and it reflects all the your different strengths that you didn't even know you had. And like you were saying with those small wins, that's a perfect way of doing that because something that's overlooked by many is actually quite an achievement in certain circumstances. And you shouldn't, diminish that in any way because that's your story, not someone else's.
True. And thank you for saying that because a lot of times people don't get it.
Yeah.
That's that you went through it, you understand it. You're if you're grounded in viewing it and not blowing it up, just seeing for it those little things, seeing it for what it really is or was,
Hmm.
you need to internalize it and appreciate it. Because nobody's going to give you the validation. They're not really going to have the full reference. You could say, "Oh, this happened and that happened," but I moved through, and somebody might applaud you, but they're never going to know exactly what that was like and what,
Exactly.
what was involved and all the steps that it took to get to even that small win. Uh,
Yeah.
so we look for validation from others, but maybe we shouldn't.
No, I always tell my clients, try not to look so much or believe outside validation, you know, believe your own like validation. You know you better than anyone else. So even if someone's trying to paint you a certain way or or sees you a certain way, if that's not how you see yourself, don't get lost in that, you know? Reconnect with who you are, not who other people, see you. And that's a challenge in itself because everyone wants to be like, hey, good job, you did great on that, or oh my God, I'm so proud of you. Like those are all things, but the thing is you can get all those things from yourself. Just by like how I celebrated my little couple steps. My at the time, my boyfriend, he didn't think much of it. He's like, "Oh, that's great because he can walk, no problem." But for me, it was huge. So like right there, if I took his validation of that experience, it would have knocked my whole self-esteem down. You know what I mean?
Well,
Instead,
I'm not to judge, but I'm going to say he's an ex for, like they say, for a reason.
reason,
Just
yeah.
saying. And I'm going to cut him like a tiny bit of slack in that he doesn't know what that was
Yeah.
like. Maybe there should have been more support there, but however,
Yeah.
he doesn't know what that feels like or what you dealt with.
Yeah.
Even if you tell your story, not everybody's going to really understand it. Uh,
Nope.
I get to the point, it's like, I don't want to hear myself talk anymore when talk about these situations. We all got stuff going on. It's like, I'm
Yeah.
almost tired of hearing myself talk about it. So I keep it to myself. Nothing, I'm not, ignoring it, but it's just like, like you said, what you think really matters. And it goes back to, I guess, the fundamentals. Nobody's going to love you better than you.
Exactly. And like when you stop telling the story that broke you constantly as that first thing that comes up, you stop giving the power to the pain. Instead, you are able to
Mm,
start living the story that you're in the process of rebuilding, which highlights your courage of, getting through that experience, the learning that you gain from that experience, and the transformation that happened from who you were then and to who you are now.
I'm writing it down. Stop giving your power to the pain.
Pain.
I'm
Yeah,
serious. I
you
like
know?
that. That says a lot there. And it's amazing if you refocus it. Let's say you've got stuff going on. Let's say you're going through, I don't know, a divorce, and you got to go to court and things like that. Instead of saying what was done to you, focus on what's going to be. Yeah, I'm going to win
Yeah,
that. I deserve that. That's going to go in my
exactly.
favor. And right on the positive side of things, as opposed to what somebody did to me. I can't believe it. Like, what's that getting you?
Exactly. I mean, or another thing someone might be able to relate to is, someone who survived a difficult childhood,
Yes.
and you might have felt like a victim, because of that. And so by healing, it allows you to see yourself more as a survivor who, instead of a victim, you see yourself as a survivor and who has developed empathy and resilience and wisdom. And that new narrative can inspire more confidence and motivate more positive choices moving forward
Mm,
instead of focusing on, how it brought you down. Focus on what you gained from it, because any negative, there's always a positive, no matter how hard it's to see.
it's it
Or
it's
recognize.
it's true, and I think all of this also gives you faith in what's known as the process. Like they say,
Mhm.
trust the process. And I know it's a cliche. I get it. But it goes back to my mom always used to say, it'll all work out. Like there was
Yeah,
times where, Mom, you don't believe what's going on here. It'll all work out.
yeah.
As I look back in life, it did. Like I'm trying to think of things that didn't work out.
Those were just temporary. I always say those
Hmm.
parts are part of the transition.
And
Or
I'm
you could
really
say transformation.
truth. Like I'm thinking back to things like, okay, what didn't work out in my life? Let me,
Yeah.
you know, Sure, relationships didn't work out, but what came from them did work out. And yeah, you wouldn't be the same person now if maybe that relationship did work out. You might have been stuck in a place of non-growth,
Yeah.
but now you move forward when you get past that. I'm not saying it's all easy, but it does work out. It always does. Like I trying to find where it doesn't. And sometimes you have to really sit back with it, and just lean back and like look at everything. Because there were probably some hurdles to get to a certain point, but you're going to get to that point.
Yeah, the most important thing to do is even when life feels so heavy, like almost like an elephant sitting on your chest, and you feel like you're just like there's nothing more than this. Just always remember there always is more than that, because if you're thinking that, you're already in the thought process of that there is possibly more, because you kind of are thinking like this is it, but now you're thinking it's it, not just saying it's it. So that means your brain and mind is already starting to, work past that hurdle to push you to the next phase, to get through it. So it's really important. And there's a couple steps that I always
Mm.
that I call them steps to embrace, a new life story. And these are ones I share with my clients, depending on what their situation is. But the first one is reflect on your past honestly. So many people don't do that, write down the story you've been telling yourself and identify which parts keep you stuck and which parts show your strength, because
Mm.
sometimes you just keep replaying it and you'll actually end up replaying it so it's worse than it was, because that's the pain talking. So by doing this, it helps you reflect on it in a different light. So that's one of the key steps I always say.
Well, that first thing that comes up for me was that you need to be, like you said, honest.
Hmm.
And well, we talked about relationships. Maybe you also need to honestly put your role in it. Maybe you're walking around some guilt over
Yeah.
something. Relationships take two. I'm not saying that, that person, if they did you wrong or they didn't treat you right, that it was equal. It could be like 70-30, 70 them, the bad stuff they did. You might be 30 in terms of your role in that.
Yeah.
But you got to own it. I heard something last night. I was watching a video, and it was about responsibility. Until you take responsibility for your life and everything that goes on in it, everything,
Yeah.
even though, look what happened to me, take responsibility for it. You probably had a hand in it, maybe like a 2% hand in it in terms of what
Yeah.
happened. But once you take responsibility, you take your power back.
Exactly. Exactly. And identifying that is so vital to the healing process. So that's why I usually make that step one of it. And then the next one is focus on the moments of growth. So, like we've been talking about, the small wins, or instead of focusing on the pain, recall times when you overcame a challenge or you learned something valuable from, something that happened, an event or, an argument or anything of that sort, or a time where you were able to help others because of that experience, whether just, leaning a supportive ear or whatever the case is. It can be minor to major. And all these moments are the foundation of your new story, because now you're flipping the pain into growth. So, and it seems kind of silly, but it's actually more simple than you think it would be. You just have to take that time to think about it.
Eh, that's what it is. And taking time to sit with yourself
Oh,
and think about
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Many of us don't. I
Hmm.
mean, literally sit in silence, maybe with a journal. Things come to you, write them down,
Yeah.
but carve the time out. I am going to think and just relax and process for 15 minutes. I mean,
Yeah.
beauty if you could do it 15 minutes every day.
Yeah.
And I sometimes I struggle with it. Like it's like I'm working. I'm like yeah, I'm looking forward, tonight I'm just going to sit on the couch. I'm going to think a little bit, watch a little TV, be on my phone, whatever. And then I'm home, and then I don't, because then I get deflected and this happens, that happens. But it's like therapy, isn't it?
Yeah. And I always think it's as vital as, nourishing your body with like eating lunch or breakfast or dinner. You know what I mean? Like, in order to have your vibrations where they should be and to feel your best and have your self-confidence, just taking 5 minutes to 15 minutes, a day just to sit with yourself makes a huge difference. And that's where a lot of people can practice self-compassion,
Mm.
where they treat their self with kindness as if they would with others. Because most people are the hardest on themselves.
Oh yeah.
So, it's so important to, work through those difficult emotions and remember that healing isn't linear, and setbacks aren't part of the process. So it's just, realize that even if you feel the guilt, like you were saying, or you feel responsible, be kind to yourself because everyone's human. Everyone makes mistakes, and it's okay. It's how you go about it afterwards. You know what I mean? So, but it's okay to say, okay, I didn't handle this great. Next time I'm gonna handle it better. Or, I really would like to reach out to that person and, apologize or whatever. It's okay if nothing else comes of it. You're doing it for you. You got to treat yourself with kindness.
Mm. Yeah, and therein lies a lot of the challenge where we get
Yeah.
stuck, where we think these things, we beat ourselves up on.
Mhm.
It no, no, give yourself some grace. There's another one.
Exactly. That goes right along with that one. I should add that to that step. Give yourself grace.
Grace. That
Yeah.
word almost sounds kind of weak. Like a cop out. But yeah, you need to.
Yeah.
You need to look at it that way. I'm honestly going to share with those that I'm close to that are on board for what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Stop giving your power to the pain.
Yeah.
It's so true. It
Hmm.
really is. Um, these little glimmers that come up, this is how you pilot people forward to transform lives and look at things in a different way. Best way to work with you, and you could do it. You can work with anybody, on the coaching level. Did they just go to your website?
Yeah, the website is the best way to set up, a complimentary discovery session with me or strategy session. Or you could give me a call or text me at 201-719-6991. Or you can also email me or find me on social media at Donna Day TLC.
You have this thing about you. You're warm, compassionate, very transparent in what you do. But even if you didn't use positive words, your positivity comes through. And it's
Oh,
kind of,
thank
it
you.
really is beautiful. It's amazing. It's
Aw.
amazing how you do what you do. Thank you for today. Really appreciate it. And um here's luck of the Irish to everybody moving forward.
Exactly. Look at the Irish.
There we go. All right. We'll talk soon. Okay.
All right. Have a wonderful day.
You too. We'll be right back.
Bye.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.